Hey everybody, Andy with PixelBlips, co-host Dave. Once again, we're doing our E3 week from here in my game room with our crappy camera and our shitty mic.
Oh wow! Just dump on it. All right.
Just dump on it. Just dump on it. Well, people know. People know.
Yeah.
It looks like a live stream. This looks like a live stream. Maybe I have time off. Maybe we'll stream some games. But so we're gonna talk about Microsoft today. So we talked about Nintendo. I gave Nintendo a B. Dave gave Nintendo
a C-ish.
Okay. So we'll talk about Microsoft today. We'll end with our grades. So let's talk about what Microsoft did good.
Well, they showed us some freaking games.
Yep, they said
that's exactly what we needed them to do.
We are bringing the heat. We are bringing the games, and that is all they talked about, except for like a slight sidetrack into how the fundamentals of Xbox Live are going to work with new funds and points are going away and blah 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 blah.
Well, that's okay though because they needed to get rid of the fun, the point system.
They need to get rid of the fun. Microsoft, that was in their meeting. They're like, okay, we need to get rid of
all the fun. Gone.
We need to get rid of DRM. We need to get rid of piracy. We need to get rid of used games, and we need to get rid of fun.
Fun is gone, guys. No more fun in video games.
That was Don Matrick. It's horrible.
I mean, they started it off right. So they started the whole thing off with they're like, hey, you know what? We're gonna talk about the Xbox One, but we have a box out there now, and we're gonna show you some stuff for that.
Here's the new Xbox 360. Yeah. Same cost as the old. Here's the new Xbox 360. Same cost as the old Xbox 360. Same guts.
Well, it's not quite the same guts, but yeah, it's the same system, and it's going to cost you at least $200, right?
The same cost, same price as what you have now.
Yeah, so you can get a 4 gig Xbox for $200, and that's what most of these are.
Yeah, okay.
So it's going to cost you the same. It looks a lot like the Xbox One. It's closer to that.
It looks like it's kind of like when Sony made the PS1. ONE. The second version of it was like the normal version of the console, but rounded. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought when I looked at this. I was like, it looks just like the Xbox, but it's rounded.
It looks like the black Xbox Slims or whatever, except it kind of looks more like the Xbox One than that. Yep. It doesn't have that weird like section of it that juts out in the middle, like it's slant and then slant out. It's a box that looks like the Xbox One.
So it was fun. It was great.
I mean, that's cool. And then they showed off. They're like, "Hey, you're gonna get to play World of Tanks and
people like World of
stuff
Tanks.
like that." Which whatever. If you like World of Tanks, you're gonna like World of Tanks. And they showed off a bunch of games that they're gonna have on.
And after World of Tanks, they announced that they were giving away 2 free games a month.
Yeah,
until the launch of the Xbox One.
Which I don't know if that's going to if that's an until then or if that's.
It seems to be an until then.
So come November, you're not gonna get any more games.
Yeah, but. These Xbox 360 games will also not carry over to your Xbox One. But your Xbox Live Gold account will.
Well, obviously they're not going to carry over to your Xbox One because you can't play Xbox 360 games on it. So,
but it's cool that they're doing something that's kind of like PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, it is.
And they also went on a limb.
It's a little late.
Yeah, but they went on a limb and they did something cool and said like, once you download these games, they're yours forever.
You never, if you cancel your sub, you get to keep these games. Yeah. I'm thinking about getting if I can find a three month sub for like $3 or $5 on Amazon, I might do that, and then I'll just get like Assassin's Creed and Halo 3. I think Fable 3 is actually free to download right now too.
So like, the selection of games is going to be pretty old, and they're all first party game or mostly first party games.
Yeah, they're going to be older third party or newer first party games.
Yeah, so you're not really getting the same.
You're probably not going to get like Halo 4 at the end.
Yeah, you're not getting the same like titles that you are getting from PlayStation Plus that are still kind of recent-ish. These all appear to be pretty not recent-ish.
Well, whatever. I mean, free game.
But it's still.
They're finally giving you something for having your subscription.
It's still cool. It's still.
That's a good move on Microsoft's part.
There's a lot of good moves on Microsoft's part this E3. Good
I would like to see them continue this after the launch of the Xbox One. Yep. I think it would be a bad idea since your account will carry over and it will be active for both your 360 and your One supposedly. Like I think it would be a good idea for them to continue the 2 free games a month thing.
Yeah. I think free stuff is always a good thing.
Yeah, and I'd like to see because what I do on my PS3 is I'll download the free game of the month and then I'll delete it when I'm done playing it. But then I can always go back and re-download it. So hopefully that kind of.
I just keep stuff on my PS3.
Well, you have a 500 gig hard drive. I have like an 80. So, but yeah, so that was one of the cool things that they did. That was one of the things that I was like, well, good job, Microsoft. Good on you.
Good move. Good move.
You're giving people free games, which is awesome.
Yep. So moving forward, they announced like Rise which I liked. I thought looked
cool.
it
looks really cool.
I'm a big fan of God of War. I'm a big fan of historical Rome and historical shit in general.
My only real thing was a lot of the combat is little mini QuickTime events.
But once again, I'm a big fan of God of War, so obviously I don't care.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it looked like almost all of the combat, at least what I saw of it, was QuickTime events, and there was no just, okay, you have 5 guys around you, dispatch them any way you please, no QuickTime event.
Do you know what Andy was really psyched about when he saw those QuickTime events? The fact that Rise, Son of Rome, or whatever it is no longer a Connect game.
Yes.
I was like,
yes, it is not a Connect game.
Congratulations.
In fact, I don't think they talked about a lot of
They talked about hardly any
games.
Connect games, specific games.
Well,
and they didn't do it in the press conference. They did it on the pre-show, showing off Fantasia, showing off the next Connect Sports. I think it's called Connect Sports Rivals or something.
Yeah.
So there's going to be new Connect games, but they were just like, we're not going to talk about.
They wanted to show off the games that they're going to sell systems with.
Yeah.
Not the stuff that might get packaged in with said system.
Yes. So. The next thing that stood out to me was Battlefield.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Battlefield guy. I didn't really care for the first player Battlefield demo, the single player Battlefield demo, but it did look amazing.
Yeah, it looks really great.
Like I was like, I'm not gonna buy that game, but that game looks awesome.
Battlefield has always been one of those games. It's like, hey, you got new tech? Let's see how awesome it is. And
how about like eight aircraft carriers colliding into one another, and like all their jets are fighting, and like you're in the middle of it, and it's crazy, and you're like,
and that's what a lot of that demo was an aircraft carrier going Titanic, breaking in half, and then starting to sink, and you got to get off of it. And
it was literally like, but there's more.
Where did these bad guys come from? I don't know. There's just bad guys on Earth.
Yeah, there's nondescript Middle Eastern terrorists. Like, that's horrible.
Well, whatever. But yeah, I mean, and that was really cool. They showed off a lot of games. I wrote down. I got about a little over 3/4 of a sheet of paper here worth of games that they showed off.
So let's talk about the stuff they did well. So let's keep going with the goodness.
Yeah.
The goodness. Tell me when you're done with the goodness.
Okay. Well, obviously, World of Tanks is going to be a free-to-play game.
Sweet.
So, and it's going to be on the 360.
And Minecraft is coming to the Xbox One.
Yeah, but it's Minecraft.
Yeah.
So if you've played Minecraft on the PC, you're probably getting that version.
And I totally forgot. I can't believe I forgot about this. How did I forget about this? Crimson Dragon.
Oh yeah,
the new Panzer Dragoon game that is not a Panzer Dragoon game.
It was funny.
I was like, I'm sold. It's there.
Did you notice? Maybe it was at least on the stream that I watched.
No. Their press conference, the sound cut out.
Yeah,
like
I was just like, you could just hear the crowd talking and making fun of the game, and I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Way to screw that one up, Microsoft. But it happens.
I mean,
right?
I think Microsoft was like, come on, it's a game about dragons.
It's a game about like you're gonna see a bunch of dragons.
Like our audience doesn't care. Like.
I mean,
if this was the Call of Duty trailer, or when it happened with the Battlefield trailer, they like stopped the trailer and restarted it.
Or something, yeah.
But they were like, "This is an important one. This has a gun. You shoot down a barrel in this one." The other one was a dragon. No one effing cares.
The Assassin's Creed 4 demo crashed.
Oh yeah, in
the Sony one. So
this was that year. There wasn't like that was the thing I liked. There wasn't like this. My body is ready or like
there was no
Ridge
big
Racer.
Memes. It's just things breaking.
Things breaking.
Stuff broke. Sorry guys. They also announced that you can then stream and edit video of you playing games. So you using Twitch and their own proprietary video editing software. They demoed that with something Andy didn't think was going to be there.
I did not, and I got excited. And can we start talking about the bad? Are you done with the good?
No, we're not done with the good yet.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Then finish with the good, because when we get to this subject, this is my bridge from the good to the bad.
So we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
And then Titanfall.
I still say Rare sucks.
Respawn's new game, Titanfall, looks really cool.
Amazable.
And it's gonna come. I think it's also coming out on the PC.
PC and Xbox One only. And there's gonna be a version for the Xbox 360. That's of course gonna be a lot of pared down.
Yeah.
But like
they're
I was
outsourcing most of that.
When they were like talking like you got to drop in, I was like, oh, I love this. I loved this in Dust. 514 when it was like we're gonna drop and like orbital drop, and I was like, oh
they do that on PlayStation too.
Awesome, I love this. This is what I love. Sci-fi shooter, yay!
Yeah.
And then they kept talking like the mech was gonna come, and then it drops
out of the sky, and then you just jump into the back of it, Iron Man style.
I was like, yes.
Too bad.
I want that game.
I want that game on my PS4. But yeah, so that's done by Respawn. Those are all the guys that were from Infinity Ward initially, right? Yes. And they all got fired, and then let's see. Microsoft points are gone. You now get to pay with cash instead of points.
Which is going to be a problem.
They're going to convert them over, and most of them are going to be worth equivalent or slightly more.
The problem with the problem is gift cards. Yeah, gift cards in shops, if they're for points, can be marked down, but if they're for monetary value, you can't mark them down.
No, that is a bit of a problem. But you know what? Maybe somebody will get lucky and buy like 40,000 points worth of stuff for $20.
So all those people that were like, oh, you can just buy all these Xbox points for cheap and you get your live subscription for cheap, like you're not gonna be able to do that anymore. And that's really kind of why Microsoft was moving towards the system to begin with.
Yeah, but they're still getting.
But every once in a while, I'll see like $50 PlayStation 3 PlayStation Network cards for $45. So you'll still get deals.
You'll see a little bit of a markdown, but you're not going to get like it's not going to be half of what face value is for this card. Let's see. There's no change as far as we know. There's no change to Xbox Live's pay features. 2 free games a month. Titan
still $60 a year.
Twitch streaming. You get to play Metal Gear Solid 5 on your Xbox One as well as your PS4.
Wait. Well, why do they make Metal Gear games for things that aren't PlayStations?
I don't know, because Kojima wanted to do it, and Kiefer Sutherland's gonna voice Snake.
I actually think Kiefer Sutherland
is
will
like,
work. Like for like what I heard of his voice, which was not a lot.
No, you don't hear a lot of him talking.
I was literally like, yeah, that could be old Snake. Okay,
or younger Snake. I think because this is supposed to be.
This is Naked Snake.
This is a direct prequel to Metal Gear Solid. Yeah. Okay.
No, not Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear,
the original. Oh, the top down.
Bam.
My bad. I never. The arcade game, right?
No.
The
MSX, and the NES.
Whatever.
And if you play on the NES, you're playing the wrong version because the MSX version is the better version.
Anyway, I believe that's all of the good. Let Andy start dumping.
I'm not gonna start dumping yet. So they showed Killer Instinct.
They did. They showed
which
Killer Instinct.
I totally didn't think they would show. Did not think they would show. And when they showed it, I was like, oh, it's Killer Instinct and Ultra Combo. And I was like, oh, that's what I loved about that game, even though I really didn't care because I was a Street Fighter guy.
And then they announced it was free to play.
Yeah, well, but that was the thing. That was this is the whole bad thing about Microsoft at E3. And this is totally going to affect their grade. If it was just their press conference and they all shut up, it would have been fine. Yeah. They would have had a better grade than they're getting. But they didn't shut up.
They kept talking because people kept asking them questions with cameras.
Poor Microsoft. Everyone asks them questions. So here's the shitty thing.
Just take the answers and leave us alone.
Killer Instinct's a free-to-play game. And you only get one character out of the gate. And you got to pay for the other characters.
Except if you buy the arcade stick, that's like $100 and something. You then get everything, plus the arcade stick.
And I'm sure there will be a bundle when the game launches.
And there might be a retail version.
All the characters.
Have all the stuff.
But no, they wanted to do this as a free-to-play game.
Yeah.
And they did it as like the worst possible way to do a free-to-play game.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, I could see if it was
why would you do that?
I could see if it's like League of Legends, right? Like, you can play the game, you accrue you accrue characters, and you can get all the characters without paying a dime. And then you just get new costumes.
Yeah.
And they keep popping out new costumes every month or 2 months.
That's how you do a good free-to-play game competitively.
Or if you want all the characters right now, you can get them all. Yeah.
So the other thing that came out of the asking questions of the Killer Instinct guys was, none of you guys are from Rare, are you? No. We're a totally other development studio. Rare has no input in this.
Aww.
And it makes sense because as we talked to before, the people that are at Rare now were not the people that made those games.
No.
So it was just kind of like, oh, so people kept asking Microsoft questions, and a lot of these questions had to do with Sony's press conference. And a lot of these questions had to do with their DRM stats and their always online stance. And Don Matrick...
I have it written down right here.
Don Matrick, who I said the other day, like, I remember saying Don Matrick should not be allowed to talk.
No. He should never. Just, if he has to say something that's not written down, then it might be bad for him.
When I played chess in high school, like, they used to say, like, you can make every single right move, and occasionally the other guy's just better than you.
Yeah.
You can do everything correctly, and occasionally you just lose. Microsoft's press conference did everything correctly, and they just lost. Lost outstandingly.
They did everything right when they were on TV. And then after they got off TV and people were asking them questions on, for their websites and stuff, then they kind of got...
It was kind of like...
They dumped. It's like, oh, the big cameras are off. I can say dumb stuff now.
So Don Matrick, when asked...
about Xbox's...
That has an offline, like, what are you saying to the offline consumer? And he's like, well... We have an offline console. You can buy an Xbox 360.
We have a product for people who aren't able to get some form of connectivity. It's called the Xbox 360.
That is like a huge middle finger to your fan base.
You know what? You want to play the best new games? Sorry.
Like, hey, you're excited about the Xbox One, and you're hyped, and we're talking to you. but you can't get an internet connection, so ew.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know.
And from a bit, I've read on business journals and Forbes and stuff, like, the idea that, like, of course he was going to say that. Like, he can't say buy a PlayStation 4. He can't say don't buy anything.
Don't buy
He has to pimp one of his products.
Yeah.
And the other product just happens to be this Xbox 360.
Yeah. And you know, it's I don't want to say, you know, like, I know what they're talking about.
As a PR person, that's a question you don't answer.
Yeah, that's like...
You literally just say, like...
I have no comment on that.
They're like, well, what do you do? Well, it's like, well, blah, 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 no comment, and then you ninja roll into some form of Titanfall looks amazing, doesn't it?
And that's when you just say...
You literally say,
I gotta go, bye.
Yeah,
just walk off camera.
You literally, like, at that moment, it's just kind of becomes... You have to be good at PR to figure out that answer on the spot, and Don Matrick is not.
No, he's not.
He's shown us astoundingly this week
that talking to the press is probably not something he should be doing.
Like there's an old joke that when Dan Quayle wrote potato wrong on the board, that they should have just, like, the Secret Service should have just bowled in and tackled him and said the vice president's been shot, and, like, ran out of the room. Like, if I was the PR person for Microsoft and no one was there with Don Matrick and that reporter, when he started answering that question, I would have stopped the interview and, like, said, like, it's very bad to stop an interview. It looks horrible, but it's even worse when infinitely
something
better
like
than that happened.
Yeah. And you know, it's true that product still exists, and if you can't get online, then you probably should have an Xbox 360.
Yep.
Just because you can play the games online with whatever, or, you know, you'll go buy the PS4 or a Wii U or whatever. But
Microsoft made this really stupid choice when they built their console.
They did.
And I think they're looking, like, in the 5-year future, like, eventually everyone's going to have this, and we want this Xbox One box to maybe be the last thing that we produce, and we produce it for a long time. And it's just going to be a sticking point now, and since it's going to be a sticking point at launch, I have doubts about whether or not that technology is going to take off.
Well, and I think they're looking at, okay, well, our internet's getting better in this country. Like, there are pockets of the...
It's not going to launch in Japan until 2014.
Yeah.
Which is insane to me.
Well, there's, 21... They said
that's
21
That's the other thing. The other thing I'm pissed off about.
It's region locked.
Well, it's region locked, but I'm not really... region locked doesn't really matter that much to me. I just buy an import console. They didn't show RPGs.
No,
at
they
the
didn't.
Press conference.
Unless
they showed The Witcher 3, but the problem is
it's kind of an action-y...
Yeah, and the Xbox One isn't going to be available in Poland at launch, where The Witcher 3 is made.
Yeah, no, they're not going to be able to play the game they made.
So they're kind of like, they sent this really concise message to Japanese gamers and then Japanese publishers that, like, we don't effing care about you anymore. Like, we're not even trying.
Well, I mean, that was their weakest market out of the Xbox 360. Is that they sold fewer units pretty much outside of the U.S. and everywhere, but Japan specifically was probably one of their lowest markets.
Contrast that with the first year of the Xbox 360 press conference where he came out and was like, Final Fantasy 13 is on it, we got Tales of Vesperia, we got Blue Dragon, we got all this crap for you RPG lovers, and, like, now we have shooters. If you want gray...
Shooters and action games.
If you want gray and brown, horrible-looking military shooters where you indiscriminately shoot innocent people that may or may not be Middle Eastern or Russian, like, we are the console box for you.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Well, you know, and you know, that's the market that they've been going for, right? Like, those are the games that made the 360, right? Like, a lot of people bought those games. Those are the highest selling games probably for the 360, right? Like, and going in, like, when I bought a 360 the first time, I knew I wasn't going to have tons of RPGs on it. Like,
I'm still pissed that I can't play Tales of Vesperia on my American PS3.
I'm sorry.
I like, to this day, like, I'm, like, waiting for a Japanese PS3 to come for sale for cheap.
Or for them to
Tales of Vesperia
make it on the PSN for $10.
Well, especially since, like, Tales of Vesperia, like, the Japanese PS3 version had so much added content, like more characters and stuff, and I was just like,
that's all right.
Namco.
But yeah, so, you know, Microsoft did a lot of really good stuff when they were on TV,
but effed it up
after the fact.
Like, the problem is so. Let's. I think we're winding down
a little bit.
Okay, let's give them a grade.
For just the conference or everything that we saw out of E3?
Okay, let's do both.
just their press conference, with a few technical glitches aside, I think they did a pretty solid B job, right? Like, wait, that sounds really bad. They earned a B. You know, they got a lot of stuff right. They like you said, they didn't show all a very varied amount of like. They didn't show a good swath of game genres, right? They like we saw a lot of shooters, a lot of action games, little bit of
bit of sport, a little bit of racing.
We saw the Forza 5 with the McLaren came up on the
Which
stage.
I told you they were going to do that.
Yeah, they were going to totally bring out a big car and
why? Because that's how Microsoft thinks. Like, oh, we got to wow them.
Yeah, we got to bring out this car.
Like clearly,
there's only one of these other cars in existence.
Clearly, our video games aren't wowing them. Let's bring out a car.
Ooh, car. But I mean, and it's kind of cool, like the technology they were talking about with Forza, where you're not playing
Drivatar.
Yeah, you get the computer learns, or the cloud learns.
I was just wondering if my Drivatar was going to be big, blue, and have a tail.
No, he was purple.
So for the press conference, I'm a little bit kinder than Dave. I think they did an A.
They did a really good job. Right?
They did.
Like,
they came out.
I don't think anybody did an A because nothing. I mean, obviously there's some stuff in the Sony presser that everybody's like, holy crap.
A plus would be perfect.
Yes.
This is A. This is you're in the 90s.
Yeah. Well, obviously.
Anyway, so they after that Xbox announcement, they said we're just gonna hit the games at E3. We're gonna hit the games.
That's exactly what they did. They came out.
They came out and hit the games. Like,
they hit all the games that
and
we knew they were going to show, and some of the ones we didn't.
They only said TV once during that Halo announcement when they were like, we're also working on a TV series.
Yeah, and that was just in passing. Like, we also announced this TV thing a couple of weeks ago.
There was very little about like snapping, integration, and moving shit with your hands.
They did show off that Project Spark that looks really cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
like they did what they had to do.
Yeah.
To get an A.
They did a lot of good stuff, and they showed off a ton of games, which is exactly what we wanted them to do.
Yep.
Because they didn't do it.
And they showed off games that would get their fans excited.
Yes. And a couple of, really neat things.
And that would maybe rope in some new people.
Yeah.
And that Metal Gear Solid trailer was the bomb diggity.
It was pretty cool.
Like,
pretty awesome.
The 3 seconds when they acted like that was an Xbox exclusive, I almost freaked. And then it wasn't.
You knew it wasn't going to be.
Thank God.
Kojima's not going to let that happen. Sony's been his buddy forever.
Yeah. So, overall E3, how do you think they did?
Well, there's a story, because they let the Matrix out of the cage.
Yeah, there's a story to E3, and the story to E3 is the first chapter is your press conference, and then it's how do you fight the other teams. Yeah. I think Nintendo did a pretty good job of keeping themselves out of it, and that's why they got a B overall.
Yeah, I would say that they probably fell over, and they probably went into, low C territory.
Oh, this is straight D.
Yeah, like low C, high D territory, because they said so much dumb stuff.
There's like horrible crap after horrible crap after like it could only get worse.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing was
the interviews was a bad move.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not because like they walked all over their faces.
The 2 or 3 that they had, they kind of just effed up really bad.
And all this stuff I saw from the show floor, like you could see Microsoft booth was empty. Like people didn't care.
Yeah, every time I saw any footage from E3. Speaking of,
the interesting stuff I think around the Xbox One is the stuff from third parties, things like Fantasia and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that looked really cool, but like it was very. It seemed to be very clear that like people were pushing back from the Xbox.
Well, I mean, with all the stuff that they announced with that, you have to check in every 24 hours, or you have to check in.
They were unpopular.
They did have a really cool. Like they were saying, everybody in your home console can use
infinite friends.
Yeah, yes. Ooh, you get it's up to like 1,000 something. Which if you have 1,000 friends on Xbox Live, I gotta
tell you, man, my PSN list since I've been home so much, friend list has exploded.
Well, yeah, because you're on during the middle of the day.
Yeah, it's like you're playing, okay.
All right, I'm gonna play with this guy. Oh, hey, he's got like 5 buddies. Cool.
It's like I said in wrapping up. It's like I learned in chess. Sometimes you can make all the right moves
and still lose because
the other guy just outplays you, and it's just sometimes. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
And Microsoft, like, I don't know what you need to do to make this thing work in the future, but you need to do something new because it ain't working now.
No.
Like, and you need to muzzle people.
Well, and I think at some point they're going to have to either remove or restrict, like reduce that 24-hour
maybe
thing.
Pull the Kinect, something. They got to bring the price down.
They have to do that.
But we'll talk about all this next week when we talk about like what the companies have to do moving forward.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that we think that they'll have to do.
So you're saying overall they got an F?
Oh no, I said overall they got like, if you average a low C and a mid B, then it's probably a high C.
I'm saying overall they got a D.
They got a D
because they did like a lot of stuff that like just boilerplate you should know not to do.
Don't do this. It's bad for you. It's bad for your image.
Like literally, like the way we talk about that, $599 you'll want to work hard for it. Ridge Racer, Giant Enemy Crabs, like these things are gonna go down as like this is what you don't do when you're launching a console.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
So we'll see you soon. Don't forget to spay new to your Pokemon, or maybe I should see if even pinatas. Since we're talking about Xbox. Don't forget to spay new to your pinatas.